By the end of this video, you will learn one idea that will completely transform your life from the inside out. You will be able to look back 6 months from now and see that your life is different if you simply apply one of the 3 things I'm about to share with you. It has completely transformed my life and allowed me to become more confident, more magnetic, more detached from outcome. It has allowed me to become good either way with whatever I want to create in my life. It has allowed me to let go of the ego's desire to make things happen, and it has allowed the divine to flow through. It has allowed me to enjoy the process more, to get out of my own way. It's allowed me to trust the divine and the universe to do things for me so that I don't have to do things. It's helped me become aware that a lot of trying to create what I want in my life has come from survival. And one of the biggest challenges people have when it comes to creating what they want is they do it from survival mode. They're doing it from trying to get their needs met, or they're doing it from a place of lack. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 ideas that have completely transformed my life. And also, when I look back even 6 months ago, myself, I can see that everything has shifted because of these 3 things. These are newer, like awakenings that I've had that I want to share with you. Now, the first one has to do with a symbol that I want to share with you of something that happened as I've come here to Amsterdam. So right now, I'm actually in Europe for the next month, and I'm running a live event in London, actually this weekend. And we have people flying over from all over Europe to come in, and it's epic. And I'm excited about it, but I wanted to also enjoy myself while I came out here. So one thing I did is I came here to Amsterdam, and I'm here for 4 days. I go to London, then I go to Lisbon, then I go to Spain, might go to France, some other places I'll be going on this trip. And before I came here, this shift that I'm talking about has come through this experience I'm about to share with you. So a few days ago, I flew out from LA to here in Amsterdam. And coming to Amsterdam, before I came here, what I did is I asked all my friends that have been to Europe many times, and I asked them, I said, hey, so the one thing I'm dreading a lot is this whole jet lag thing. When you come from, 9-10 hours back in LA, where it's normally a certain time, and I'm coming all the way up here, it's a 10-hour flight, how do you adjust to jet lag? Now, one thing that was interesting is I asked like literally 10 to 15 people. And what I thought was interesting is every person I asked had a little bit different of a response. Some people said that it's horrible, it's challenging, it'll take you at least a week to adapt to like an hour per day time zone. So 10 days, 10 hours, it'll be 10 days before you're even feeling back to normal. And I'm like, oh, I gotta run a live event. So here I am, I actually flew in like 10 days before the live event because I bought into the belief system. Then I talked to a few other friends who said something a little bit different. And some people said, it's not a big deal. It's in your mind. It is what you make it. And one thing that happened is I talked to a friend of mine that travels a lot. He said something really good. He's like, your body follows your mind. Let it be easy. So my lesson and my thing that I've learned about this, and the first lesson of today, of one thing that could completely shift your life, is realize that your beliefs about the process affects the process. If you believe something will be hard, you will create the conditions and the experience of it being hard. The body follows the mind. So dreading it, even the pre-paving of dreading it, dreading coming, oh, it's going to be so hard, having that perspective, and that was creating a heaviness around it. So one of the things that I decided to do is I just decided that it's going to be easy. It's going to be quick. I think part of me wanted to believe it'd be really, really easy, but I also believed there'd be a little bit of a jolt. And that's exactly what happened, by the way. There was like a jolt in the process where it wasn't that it was easy, but it has been quick. And now I feel back to normal. So coming here, it was like I had to become aware and also do things that were in alignment with my belief systems to adapt. So one of them for me coming here is I decided that what I would do is once I got here, live in according to whatever the circadian rhythm is here. So yesterday, I actually got here yesterday. I got here yesterday at like noon, Amsterdam time, but it was like 1 in the morning. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning LA time. What did I do right when I got here? I went to the gym and worked out because that's what I would normally do back home. And then I came back and went my whole entire day, ate meals like I normally would if I was living here. And I went to bed at 10 o'clock Amsterdam time. And today I woke up in the morning I went to bed at 1 o'clock. I went to bed at midnight Amsterdam time, woke up at 10 o'clock the morning this time, which is great. And now I'm recording a video. But one thing that I recognized, one thing that I noticed is doing a few different things, like in alignment with my belief system. One of them was, I do believe this, walking around the town here in Amsterdam has created a certain level of familiarity within my nervous system. That of like I woke up this morning, got sunlight as quick as I could. It's really cloudy out, but I got as much sun as I could. I believe in circadian rhythm and how that affects my nervous system. And digestion also, like not eating what I normally eat. Another thing I'm doing is I'm not looking back and seeing, what time is it right now in LA? Oh my God, I'd normally be mid-REM cycle. Those are some things I've heard too from people. I've done a lot of research on this before coming here. And one of the things I realized is it's like a mindset. So that mindset is like, oh my gosh, it's 11:29 here, which means that back in there, it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'd normally be in the middle of sleep. No. I'm not my belief about this process is that it can be easy. After this video, I'm going to go to the gym because I know that will also spike my energy. And I would normally never work out at 4 in the morning in LA, but I'm choosing to let it be easy. I'm not going to keep reminding myself of the past. And that's what a lot of people I think do, even when it comes to consciousness and shifting your energy. It's like you start doing, and then you start thinking about it. You're like, I used to be this person though. I used to be in this pattern. And then we recreate the heaviness of that. And what I'm learning to do within my own life and also just in general is realize that my beliefs about the process affects the process. So if it's attracting love that you want, do you believe that it's going to be very, very hard? Take many, many heartbreaks? Do you believe that you have to prove yourself to other people? Get them to see your worth? These are things that will affect your ability to attract love. It goes into it. So a lot of times people miss this because they think that reality is a certain way and that in order to create what they want, it's like they have to play a certain game. The only game you're playing is the game you're buying into. So even when I thought about this idea of beating jet lag, I realized it's like me versus jet lag. Is it? Is there a spoon or is there no spoon? You know, in like the Matrix? It's like the way that you bend the spoon is you realize there is no spoon. Is this gaslighting, this idea of using spiritual gaslighting to say, is there jet lag or no jet lag? That is the question. However, my thought process about jet lag affects what I experience. And talking to a couple friends that travel a lot, they're like, I don't believe in it. My body follows my mind, and I choose, when I go somewhere, I choose to let it be easy and quick. So you can say, well, jet lag still exists. I'm not denying it doesn't, saying it doesn't, it's not a real experience for people. It is. However, it can be easy or it can be hard based on your beliefs about it. Attracting love can be easy, it can be hard. It depends on your beliefs about it. If you believe you have to prove yourself to other people, you'll play that game. If you believe that all men or all women are a certain way, you'll experience that in reality. Your beliefs about the process affects the process. And realizing that has made me realize when I look back to like attracting love and these things in my life that have really come into alignment this year, my beliefs about that process included letting it be fun, easy, and playful. How do most people go about attracting love? When they're trying. When they're trying, it's like, I have to do this, I have to find this, I got the long checklist. It becomes this serious like dread. Instead of it being a fun, natural, playful thing. So understand that the more fun you have, the more you enjoy the process, the more you let it be easy, the more you question the old thoughts and the old beliefs and the old patterns, the more free you will become. I had this awareness even last night as I was trying to fall asleep, because for a minute, I was putting pressure on myself to fall asleep. Now, this will go into the second thing. The second thing has to do with understanding the attachment, the letting go, and realizing that it's not your ego's job to figure this out. Maybe that's the key and that's the next breakthrough for you. You look back 6 months from now, you're like, wait, my ego was in survival mode, trying to make things happen. And that's what was creating the resistance. So for example, last night, and even 2 nights ago, it's about 2 nights ago, I was on a flight. I was on a 4 o'clock at night London time till 2 or 3 in the morning. It was at 4 in the morning LA time till 2 o'clock LA time. But when I got here at 2 o'clock LA time, it was 10 o'clock in the afternoon Amsterdam time, if that makes sense. And when I got there, I was like, I got a nice plane ticket. I was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep real good on this flight. So at like 6, 7 o'clock at night LA time, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed when I normally go to bed at like 11 o'clock LA time. And I laid there in my bed and I put on this movie that made me bawl my eyes out. This freaking movie. You want to know how embarrassing this movie was? I watched this movie. It's called like A Fault in the Stars or something like that. But it's about these 2 kids that are going to die because they have some health thing and they fall in love. And it's like beautiful movie. Amazing. I've heard of it. Watched it on the flight. Don't know why I watched it on the flight. Sometimes I tell myself a story that I have trouble feeling emotion. And then I watch some movie and I just freaking bawl my eyes out. The lady that's like the flight attendant's like, do you need anything? I'm like, no, I'm okay. It was like putting this thing over my face. It was so embarrassing. And I realized, yes, I am more emotionally available than I thought. I can cry when I watch certain movies. Anyways, so when I was watching this movie, why am I talking about the movie still? Anyways, I watched this movie, cried. Oh, it's so good. It was a good movie. Now I'm going to go to bed. I try to go to bed, and I'm like, it's very important that I sleep so that when I get there at 2 o'clock LA time, I'm ready to go Amsterdam time. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I laid there, not falling asleep. And I realized I was trying to fall asleep. And then I realized it's such a funny paradox. The more you try to fall asleep, the harder it is to fall asleep. The more you try, the less you are. You have to be okay with if you sleep, and you have to be okay with you if you don't sleep. And the more I was focusing on trying to sleep, I realized I was in this ego survival mechanism where I was trying to force sleep. Now, of course, you can't force sleep. You have to be okay with whether you sleep or not. Now, what happened is at one point I became aware of my ego's desire to try to control. I became aware of that. You're trying too hard. Okay, observe the thoughts that are like, if I don't sleep, I'm not going to get enough sleep. I'm going to have to go to Amsterdam. I'm going to work out, and so I'm not going to feel good. And what I realized is I can become aware that I'm trying to sleep. I became aware of the thoughts I was thinking. I became aware of that ego mechanism. Started to feel some space, some spaciousness. But then I always have this story that it can't be that easy. I can't just let go. I got to make this harder for myself. So I kept tossing and turning, and then I would get up, I'd watch something, then I'd beat myself up because I'm looking at a screen, even though I'm wearing blue blockers. Like, it was all this thing. And I became aware that my ego's in survival mode. And it's like, it's feast or famine, sleep or not, you're going to be screwed. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Now, finally, like an hour and a half before the flight ended, after a 10-hour flight, I fell asleep for like an hour, maybe. And then I got up and I got settled in here, found my Airbnb, and it was this whole thing. And then I went to the gym and all that. And even last night, as I was going to sleep, what I realized is that pressure energy started to come back. And I realized I don't have to make this happen. I can let go. And what I realized is that I was once again expecting it to be hard. And therefore it was hard. What I started to do is I started to realize that I can just let go and know that I'm good either way. I'm good either way. Whether I get sleep or not, I'm good. How many times when it comes to attracting love are people trying to force themselves to attract love, or they're trying to force money to come into their life? They're trying to force a certain aspect of their life. When you force, you create resistance. You're also in survival. And when you're in survival, you're not so magnetic. When you're in survival, people can feel that energy. When I used to sell women's shoes back in the day, if I went into work and I had to hit a certain quota, pressure, 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 I then made the universe this manipulative little toy for me. Give me what I want. Hands at the throat of the universe. Give me, you will buy shoes from me. And then here I am on a plane. You will sleep. Bro, you're good either way. Let go of the outcome by understanding that it's not your ego's job to make this. Your ego thinks it knows what best, but it doesn't. Your ego is just in survival. You have a consciousness that is so vast that the story and the game that you're playing is what's limiting it. I think of like Paramahansa Yogananda in the book Autobiography of a Yogi, one of my favorite books of all time. He talks about how he could sleep for many, many days if he wanted to, and he could not sleep for many, many days, and he's fine either way because God is flowing through. And when I think about that, I remember to myself that like when you surrender to something greater than you, you don't have to figure it out, and you'll be amazed how much your body follows your mind. And also, consciousness and the reality will follow what you believe to be true, what you're buying into. And if you start buying into God more than you're buying into your ego, you will begin to feel more free. So do you see how this makes a huge shift in energy when you could start like trusting this? Another way that this shifted for me, and a little lesson that I had around this, was about 2-3 months ago, I was in Sedona running a live event. And I used to have this story, this belief, that for me to have a good live event, because also part of my live events are this is how I get content now. The way I get content is I run a live event, I coach people, and there's all these different camera angles. So I want to get great content. Then I'm running a live event, trying to get great content, trying to manipulate everyone in the audience to give me the great content. Creating resistance. Instead of just trusting and being of value to other people and letting it flow through, I'm going to control. But I'd always dance around with these energies, and the more I learn, the more I know, just let go, bro. Have fun with the process, and set your intentions on the people, not on the content. That shifts everything. I have to remind myself, though, all this money I'm spending, all this production costs, all of this, let go. Now, a few months ago when I was in Sedona, I actually got sick the day before a live event. I could hardly speak without coughing. I felt like fatigue. I felt like death. I did not feel good. And what ended up happening is I had a story that I had to get 8 hours of sleep the night before to have a good live event. And I had all these like things. And when I went, funny enough, I went on the first day of this live event, and I was like laying down in the back in between sessions. It was no bueno. And I'm speaking sometimes for 4 or 5 hours straight. At one point, what happened is I just completely let go. I was like, I don't care if I get great content. I don't care. I'm just letting go, and I'm going to be of service. And what happened is one of my best sessions I have ever had, one of the most aligned sessions I've ever had, I had when I felt like I could barely speak. I didn't feel great, yet it was incredible the magic that happened at a live event. I was coaching different people, bringing them on stage. It just turned into pure magic. And what I realized is that when you surrender the ego's desire to control outcome, you can just allow this stuff to happen. You don't have to be in the driver's seat. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast yesterday, him talking to Matthew McConaughey, and he kept talking about how like in certain states of consciousness you get into, or he was talking about like when you're really doing really good comedy, he's like, it's like you're a passenger. You're just watching it happen. And it's just happening, but it's like you're kind of a passenger in it. And it's when you're allowing God to flow through you, when you're in you could say a channeled state, a flow state, whatever name you want to give it. I know there's a whole bunch of spiritual connotations to that, but when I'm doing a live event or I'm even making this video right now, I am literally a passenger right now making this video. I'm not like just watching myself or judging myself making the video. I am allowing the energy to flow through, and it is just happening. Am I even a passenger? It's a state of consciousness and flow that you get into that when you're in that state, magic happens. I'm not intuitively like, I'm going to pause now for dramatic effect. You feel that pause? How are you feeling now? It just happens naturally. When you are in a flow state, you are magnetic. When you're in a flow state, you're not thinking. Listening to Joe Rogan and Matthew McConaughey talk about this was interesting because I realized that it's like a lot of what this whole passenger thing is, it's like you're not attached to thoughts. It's like happening through you. A thought might come into your mind, but it comes through the moment. It comes through the unknown. So trust and realize that that's the state of consciousness we're talking about here. When you're in that state of consciousness, you are magnetic. Love comes. Abundance comes. Money can't help but come to you when you're in a channeled state. When I look at my business and I want my business to grow, you want to know the thing that if I do will change everything? If I focus more on the energy state I am in and allowing it to flow through, allowing God to flow through, allowing that passion, that flow state to flow through, that will attract to me the right clients, abundance, everything. The right ideas come from that state as well. Even as I went to bed last night and I had that breakthrough and I slept for 10 hours, I woke up and I woke up with all these ideas. Like, oh my gosh, this is my next thing, this. It's from the state, not from trying to figure it out. So what if your next breakthrough, 6 months from now, you look back, your next breakthrough was because you stopped committing to trying to figure it out and you started committing more to the state, the energy, following the passion, following the energy, getting into the flow. What puts you in flow? And how can you start getting into the unknown to find out even what that is? Which leads me to the third point today, which has to do with letting go of attachment and trusting God through flow and the unknown. This is where the magic is. It's not in the known. What you've always known is what you create from survival. The unknown is where all magic happens. Funny enough, content for me gets better and better when I travel. You want to know why? I'm in the unknown. I have more stories to share with you. Don't you like my stories? The jet lag story, do you like it? It's not some crazy big, but it's not the stepmom story. Sometimes people comment, they're like, I've heard this story before. I know, but not everybody has. Am I not over it yet? Am I still contemplating? It's my subconscious shadow coming out that gets annoyed seeing that comment. That's all that is. But all in all, understand that for everything that we're sharing, everything I'm talking about, if you get one thing, understand that God is the unknown. And the more you trust the unknown, the more you trust God. Now, the unknown is in the past when you were a kid, and the unknown, something scary happened. That scary thing that happened is why you now like the familiar. It's why you stay into the familiar. And your next breakthrough comes from embracing that fear that you feel and choosing to step in it anyways. Choosing to trust yourself. Choosing to trust God. Choosing to trust the universe. Every breakthrough that I've had in my life has come from trusting the unknown. Even when I think more recently to something I haven't really talked much about in my channel yet, it comes to attracting love. Attracting love for me has come, my big breakthroughs around love have always come around deep, vulnerable conversation. And ironically enough, deep, vulnerable conversation as a kid was not familiar or comfortable. Putting myself out there and expressing how I felt was not met with, good for you, you're worthy, good job, knuckles, buddy. It was met with an energy where I felt like I was walking on eggshells. It'd be met with the feeling of abandonment. It'd be met with saying your thoughts or feelings don't matter, something along those lines energetically. And then I would harbor it in and I would not express myself. Well, ironically enough, for 5 years, there was someone in my life that was one of my best friends for 5 years. And there was probably for 5 years an opportunity for us coming together. But it didn't happen. And on both of our ends, there was probably an energy where we were aware of that we didn't want to break because we were so close as friends that we didn't want to chance it not being there. Where the belief was, if we don't get into this territory, we can be friends forever. And that was the thought. And up until last few months, there's a shift that happened where there was an awareness that there was an energy there. And on a trip with friends, other couples, ironically enough, we became aware of this energy. And there was a moment where there was an opportunity for a conversation. And there was a thing with this conversation where it was the unknown. What we know is we know 5 years of friendship. We know that we've talked to each other about who we've dated, all the dating stories, all that. We've shared everything with each other. What would it be like to date? I don't know. It wasn't even on the radar for either of us for a long time because we just kind of put each other in a certain category. We talk all the time, but people would always ask us too, are you guys together? You guys? No. We're just friends. But I'll maybe share, maybe comment below if you want me to share the more of the story. I also have an opportunity to go on a friend's podcast with both her and I to like share kind of the story of how everything happened because it was definitely divinely inspired. You know what's funny is for years, I wondered why. I was like, I have everything on paper. I know it sounds egotistical, but on paper, it's like I'm successful, I'm abundant, I do cool stuff for a living, I'm on my purpose as the masculine. Like, I do all these things. Why is love coming? Because love would come into my life, but like, I would always feel like it wasn't necessarily something that came naturally, or I wouldn't find myself with people that was like, I feel like taking this to the next level. I always wonder why. And what I eventually realized is that there was this belief that, one, I had to do something, but there was this other side of it where it was like I was recognizing, like, how could I have fun with this process, but also, is there an opportunity for just like growth within myself? Like, what are these people I'm dating showing me about myself? And probably for a while, not that I say I wasn't worthy of it, but I can see now that a lot of other things that had to kind of happen for me to get to a place of like real neutrality where like I'm good either way. So trusting the unknown for me was really about trusting God. And as soon as I began trusting God and I really let go and just started having fun in my life, and I really started focusing on other aspects of my life too. Not that I was like just trying to distract myself from love and all of this stuff, but I was really letting go of like needing it to happen any specific way. And I was really okay with it even happening at all. Like, I love my life. I love my friends. I love the growth that I'm having. And then that's, of course, when it happened. But it came through a vulnerable conversation. It came through expressing, hey, this could go one way or the other, but I'm going to lay it out there. And it happened for both of us where we realized that we both felt that same way. And then that's what allowed things to then grow deeper, which has been a very powerful, interesting experience. Going inwards and dating someone that you know everything about already. Being in a relationship with someone that for 5 years you've already felt a deep connection to. So the point of this is on understanding that there's like different levels of our growth that we go through, that if we commit to the process, we commit to the divine flowing through and realizing we're not the ones that has to control any of this. We can just let it be. And by letting it be doesn't mean you're not doing work, doesn't mean you're not putting yourself out there, just letting it be is more of the energy. It's the energy that shifts. You're good either way because God is flowing through you. And the more I've learned to let go and trust the unknown, whether it's a vulnerable conversation, trust the unknown, whether it's trying something new, like, running live events with hot seat coaching where I travel and I bring people up, and it's the unknown. Anything can happen. But that's where all the magic happens. And the only time there's a lot of nerves there is when my ego's in survival trying to gain clarity. Even as I'm getting ready to go speak, next week, it's funny, I've just recently got to a place to where I don't get nearly as nervous as much when I run these live events. There's still nerves there, here and there. But back in the day, it was way more. You want to know why? My ego thought it had to prepare a lot. Write down all the things you're going to talk about. What if you forget something? Funny enough now, the more you do anything, the more confident you get. The more I've trusted the unknown, the more I prove to myself that I can put myself out there and I have the courage to do so. And then the more my beliefs about reality shifts. I'm like, I can be in any unknown situation and figure it out. I don't have to figure it out though. God flows through me, and through the space, these things happen. So maybe your next breakthrough is around trusting the unknown. Knowing that as you begin to express the real you, that's your initiation into new deep connection. For me, it was around me for 5 years, but one vulnerable conversation is what shifted that. To where now the same blocks I'd have in other relationships, I just don't have, because it's the person that I really resonate with. And also the energy within myself that I'm connected to. It's like the person that I am around this person just feels so much more in alignment, that it's like, it's a new level, a new way of being. And I think we all have that. We realize the process can be easier. You don't have to control it. You can allow God to flow through. And I thank God every day for my life, the people in my life, my friends, my partner. I thank God every day for you, even watching this video. One of the things my girlfriend told me is an interesting thing when I was running this 21-day challenge, where I had over 1,000 people join this 21-day challenge that I did. And she did these things because she also works with entrepreneurs and stuff. She has her own business as well. And she's like, she envisions her clients and people as the gratitude for them, but imagines them transform. And I already knew that I do this stuff in my own way, but one thing I did is I took all the customers that joined, I started not blessing them, but really being grateful for them and sending them positive vibes and just feeling appreciation for them. The more I did that, the more it grew. It's crazy what happens. And my relationship with you is also something I'm very grateful for. You watching this video, you being in this kind of work, you focusing on this kind of content that's still a little bit more taboo. More and more people are waking up every day, but whatever you're grateful for in your life, you will find more of. And when I was in the airplane trying to sleep, I wasn't grateful. I was resistant, trying to control, focused on why is it not happening? And very often I think people, instead of focusing on the connections they do have in their life, focus on parts of their life that brings them a lot of gratitude towards God. They focus on what they don't have. They focus on what they lack, and therefore they experience more of that. Doesn't mean you don't look at the shadow and you don't embrace uncomfortable emotions and energies and patterns that you become aware of, but it means you're not just focusing on good stuff, but you are focusing on you can be grateful for also the shadow. I'm grateful for any time I become aware of projections I have. I'm grateful for even the couple nights ago when I couldn't sleep and I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm grateful for that awareness. And that gratitude allows me to be in an energy of the divine, of the unknown. So your homework for today is to comment below what your biggest insight from this video was and where in 6 months would you like to be? Energetically, not just physically, maybe some of the physical things, but energetically. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. And imagine what that energy could be like from one of these ideas today. How could you integrate whatever that is? Comment below, share it, see what other people's insights are. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is I'm running a live event here in a few days in London. It's probably too late for you to join that. However, I will be running more live events soon, mainly in LA. And I'll be going on tour as well. Other than that, there's one meditation that if you do for 21 days, I believe can completely shift your life. It's completely free. You can read the comments to see what's possible. It's on raising your dominant vibration permanently. Read the comments to see what can happen so it increases the belief it can happen for you too. And then commit to it for the next 21 days and watch how much your life shifts. This is a part of the thing in 6 months from now where your life shifted. It's if you listen to this meditation, watch what happens, commit to it for 21 days, read the comments to see what's possible, and I'll see you on the other side.
This meditation will change